Let's see what's in the mail today. What the heck is that? Now what's in my lawn? Huh, that's pretty cool. Look at that. It's another G106. This time I can touch it with my hands. Wonder what's different. Let's go check it out. Ha 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 ha! That's right. My friends at Radioddity were kind enough to send me a second unit. They wanted me to make sure to tell you that the first G106 they sent me was a pre-production model. This one is the production model. Whether or not that's true, who knows, but we got another one to look at. Again, I do want to give a sincere thanks to my friends at Radioddity for allowing us to borrow these radios and take a look at them and play with them and kind of show you what they do. So if you do want to pick up anything from Radioddity, I do have an affiliate link. You can get $15 off most purchases. Over $65, I'll leave a link in the description. And yeah, go buy stuff from Radioddity. So anyway, let's dive in. I'll do a more practical review of this radio and we will see what it is all about. So let's hop over on the bench and see what we got. Taking a quick spin around, we can see we have really a nice all metal construction here. This is definitely designed for portable and outdoor use, even so much as adding some little guardrails to protect your knobs. Now, with this version, or with this unit they sent me, this knob here is kind of off kilter. I'll insert some B-roll here and show you, but it kind of wobbles like the thing it's on is not totally straight. So if I were to actually drop this, you can kind of see how the knob sticks out past this. But I do feel if I dropped this on the knobs, it would actually be quite protected by these little guards here. Unfortunately, there's no guards on the back to prevent our antenna port from being messed up, so that's unfortunate. But at least they had the wherewithal to put these. Taking a quick look at the back, we can see we have a DC input for 9 to 16 volts. We've got our accessory for connecting up our digital, which we'll look at in a bit. We've got our COM port, our keyer, a ground, and a BNC connection. On the top of the radio, we have our power button. We've got a dual button to turn your preamp on or off, and also to change the mode from sideband, CW, digital, AM, FM, etc. And you have a band left and right for changing your bands, and also if you double press that, that will put the lock on. Turning the radio on is as simple as pressing this red button on top. Operation of the radio is actually quite intuitive. There's really not a lot to mess with. You have these multi-buttons down here and that's where all your menus are gonna be. There's really not a lot to fuss with. We've got 5 pages here. We've got, on the first page, we have VM for VFO or memory. We don't have any memories saved, so that's not gonna do anything. We also have our AB button for switching between our A and a B. We have a memory write, which if I wanted to write this to memory, I could do that. And we have a memory clear, I believe that is. No valid MOMOE. A little bit of lost in translation there, but that's okay. I think we know what they mean. Then we can use our VFO knob to change between pages. So now we're on page 2. So we have CW frequency, or filter rather, CW filter. And you can adjust that between 50, 250, and 500 hertz. And just hit save or quit. CWT is the tone we have, so you can adjust the tone of your CW carrier. We'll keep that there. CWR is the CW ratio. This is how long your bleeps and bloops are gonna actually be keyed when you're in iambic mode. Just keep it on 3 as the default. And then QSK is what's actually gonna allow it, once if you're in CW mode, it will actually transmit your CW carrier. If you don't have QSK turned on, you can still, like you could use it as like a practice CW, but it won't actually transmit anything. So you wanna have that on and then hit the mode button here until you hit CW there, which we just went past. So that's how you would use CW. And you can hit the VFO button to get out of the menus if you want, or you can just wait and it'll eventually go off after a couple seconds and go back to the main screen. Hit any of the buttons to get back to it. So now memory or menu 3, we have KS, which is your keyer speed. And it'll go all the way up to 50 words a minute and all the way down to 5. Save that wherever you want. KM is where you would adjust for manual, like if you're using a straight key, or auto left or auto right, if you're using a paddle. IMB is iambic mode B or A. And CSN, you can actually enter in your call sign. I'm not sure how to do this though. Okay. So we can enter in our call sign, so when our radio turns on, it will show our call sign, like this. See, now it says K8MRD. We can also push the VFO to get to the menus. Menu 4, we have our split operation. Menu, this DIS is for the display, so you can have the scope and the S meter, which looks like that. So here's the scope, there's the S meter. We can have just the scope, which is just that. Not sure why anybody would want that, but you can. You can have a big scope. BP is beep on or off. Now this one, oddly enough, you actually push the button to turn that on. The VFO doesn't do that, so that's kind of weird. And that's just for when you push the buttons, it'll beep or not. And then we have version. We can see I'm on version 1. Press any key to exit. And then menu 5, we have our FM radio, if we want to listen to some sweet jams instead of playing radio. And then BSM is our band stacking mode. So we'd either have ham band or full bands, and this will just, as you go, here, let's put in full bands. As you go to select between your bands, it just kind of gives you all the frequencies here. So I don't really find that useful. I leave it on ham band personally, but you do you. This top pre-mode button, if we just short press it, you can see we're changing from CW, AM, LSB, lower sideband digital, upper sideband digital, CW, AM, etc. If we long press it, notice that P went off. That's our preamp, so we can turn a preamp on or off. There's no attenuation on this, just preamp on or off. And then I believe if we long press both of these buttons, the band buttons, see that lock, so that's your VFO lock, and can't do anything with the buttons if you want to not change your VFO. So then just double press or long press both those buttons again and turn the lock off. That is actually a nice feature to have. I use that quite a bit when I'm operating. Now the last unit we took a look at was really dirty on everything. Audio, transmit, CW, digital. Well, I couldn't even get it to transmit on digital, but I suspect if I did, it would have been pretty dirty. Let's take a look at this unit they sent me. I went outside on my front porch and did some sideband and some CW, and I recorded it on the 7610. So let's take a listen to the audio, and we'll also see on the scope what the transmit bandwidth is and see if that got cleaned up.
Testing 1, 2, testing 1, 2. This is K8MRD testing the audio and signal quality of the Xiegu G106. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Testing 1, 2, testing 1, 2, K8MRD.
So we can see the transmit bandwidth is actually well within the 3 kilohertz that we'd want to be for a single sideband transmission. The audio still sounds a bit muffled to me, and I suspect it's probably because the microphone just isn't really that good. Now, I was able to make a contact with someone in Ohio doing the Ohio QSO party, and it sounded like this. Kilo 8 Mike Romeo Delta. Roger, you're 5-7 Texas.
And where are you at?
Texas, Tango X-ray.
Texas, okay,
He didn't have anything bad to say about the audio. He was also doing a contest, so it might not have been the top of his mind to tell me if my audio sounded terrible, but you never know. Now, CW with the last unit had all kinds of side tones other than the carrier that I was actually transmitting. Let's take a look at the scope and see how this one fared on CW. Definitely a lot cleaner on CW now with just that one carrier, so we're not splattering all over the frequencies. So I can definitely say it passes on CW. I can also say I will give it a pass on audio in terms of clarity and bandwidth. Not a huge fan of the way it sounds. There's no EQ or there's no way to fix anything, so maybe you could drill a hole in the microphone to allow a little bit more of your voice to come in, but you know, it's a $300 radio, so don't have your expectations too high. Now, as far as digital is concerned, Xiegu's not known for ease of use in terms of digital. Here's where they knocked it out of the park. With the DE19 adapter that you do have to buy separately, you simply plug in a CAT cable, a 3.5mm cable, and a USB-C cable, and you are on the air. Let's hop over to the desktop. I'll show you the little bit of settings. This is ridiculously easy to use. By far, the easiest Xiegu radio to ever get on digital. So the first thing we have to do when we plug it up is go to Preferences, or if you're on a Windows, it would be Settings. And we're going to go over to the Audio tab, and we're going to look for USB audio device. Change that for both. And radio should be the ICOM 7000. There we are. We need to pick which device it is. I believe it's that one. Put none and none for mode and split operation. Make sure that the G106 is in upper sideband digital. Test CAT, that's good. Test PTT, that's good. We should be rocking and rolling. So let's hop over to a band that has some stuff going on. And here we can start seeing some signals coming in. Now, one thing I do want to note, the input audio is extremely sensitive on this. So I'm going to go to my sound preferences. And on the input, I'm going to select USB audio device. Notice how over here, it's kind of peaking in the red. You want to have this slider very, very close to 0, like 1, if you could. And now see, we're not really peaking in the red there. And that will actually help improve your signal quality. And we should be able to hit tune. Getting power out. Actually getting about 8 watts out right now. But it is working. Now, the unfortunate thing is I'm keying up now, and you can see we have a couple little extra bits that we get. And there's no way to know what your ALC is at, so we can't really adjust that. It's still a bit dirty on transmit for FT8, so you can see that bit of hash right there when you key up and unkey. I don't know if they can clean that up in firmware or not, but it is doing that, so who knows. So I don't think I'd use this for FT8, but hopefully they can fix that. That is also something we say with Xiegu. Hopefully they can fix it in firmware. That's just kind of the way it is now. But for sideband and CW, with this unit, I'd give it a pass. The one thing to be cautious of, though, as yes, they're telling me that the first one we had was a pre-production model. This one is an actual production model. Your mileage may vary. So fortunately, there's return policies. You know, if you're really into this radio, you want to try it out. It's only a few $100. So for an entry-level radio, knock yourself out. If you find it doesn't work out to your liking, there's always the ability to return it. So do keep that in mind. I would say they definitely improved the radio. Now, whether it's a hardware or a software thing, I don't know. I can't remember the version that my other one was on. This is on version 1. I feel they sent me a newer version that didn't fix anything, so there's definitely something wonky with the first one that I had. Just wanted to kind of revisit this radio and give a little bit less emotional review of it.
Emotional, damn it!
And again, I want to thank Radioddity for being cool sports, because we definitely bashed this radio before. So my advice now, if you really got to have this radio, buy it. If it works for you, great. If not, send it back. This radio is going to be sent to a lot of other reviewers, like this actual unit. I'm not keeping this, I'm sending it off. So I'll be curious to see what other people find out and what their experience is with this radio. I'll tell you, this is a lot better than my last one, so I'm going to leave it up to you to decide whether or not to get this radio, but this unit is not the piece of crap that the last one was. So anyway, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to K8MRD Radio Stuff. Follow me on Twitter, and we'll catch you again on another episode of K8MRD Radio Stuff. 73, guys.